You didn't lose your job. You didn't make a bad investment. You didn't even spend recklessly. And yet somehow, you have less buying power than you did 5 years ago. There's a tax you've never seen on a form, never signed up for, and never voted on. No politician campaigns against it. No accountant flags it on your return. But it's quietly draining your savings every single year. And most people don't even know it has a name. My name is Santosh, and I spend a lot of time thinking about money. Specifically, why so many hardworking people feel like they're falling behind, even when they're doing everything right. Today, we're talking about inflation, but not the way the news explains it. We're going to look at it the way it actually hits your life, slowly, quietly, and almost invisibly. If you've ever felt like your paycheck buys less than it used to, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why and what you can actually do about it. Here's the strange part. Inflation isn't hidden because it's complicated. It's hidden because it's slow. A 25% pay cut would make headlines. A 25% loss in purchasing power over 10 years barely makes a dent in conversation, even though mathematically, the effect on your life is identical. Let's make this real. Say you keep $20,000 sitting in a regular savings account, earning close to nothing, maybe 0.5% interest. At an average inflation rate of around 3.5% per year, that $20,000 doesn't grow, it shrinks. In real terms, after 10 years, that same $20,000 only buys what about $14,000 would buy today. You didn't lose a single dollar from your account. The number on the screen never went down, but your money quietly lost a third of its power to buy things. That's the invisible tax. And unlike income tax, there's no form for it, no deadline, and no refund. So why does almost nobody notice this happening in real time? Because our brains are wired to compare numbers, not value. If your salary goes from $50,000 to $55,000, that feels like progress. It feels like a win. Nobody pauses to ask, wait, did prices also go up 15% in that same period? We're comparing today's number to last year's number, never to what that number can actually buy. Psychologists call this money illusion, the tendency to think in nominal dollar amounts instead of real purchasing power. It's the same reason a $10 movie ticket from the 1990s feels expensive today at $16, even though adjusted for inflation, it's roughly the same cost. Our brain anchors to the sticker price, not the underlying value. This illusion is comforting. It lets us feel like we're winning a game that quietly we might be losing. Let's look at two people. Daniel, 34, lives in Ohio and works in logistics. He earns $52,000 a year and got a 3% raise this year, which felt great. But that same year, his rent went up 6%, groceries went up 4%, and his car insurance jumped almost 9%. On paper, Daniel got a raise. In reality, Daniel got poorer. The real problem is deeper than just rising prices, though. It's what Daniel does next that matters most. Because he feels financially stuck, he avoids checking his bank balance. He avoids budgeting. He keeps most of his savings in a checking account to stay safe because the stock market feels risky and uncertain. But here's what most people miss. Cash isn't actually the safe option here. Cash sitting still while prices rise is guaranteed, not possibly, but guaranteed to lose value over time. The safe choice is ironically the one slowly costing him the most. This is loss aversion at work, a well-documented behavioral economics principle. Humans feel the pain of a visible loss, like a stock market dip, far more intensely than they feel the pain of an invisible loss, like inflation eating away at cash. So we avoid the asset that occasionally shows red numbers, and we cling to the one that never does, even though the silent one is doing far more long-term damage. It's not stupidity. It's not laziness. It's how human brains are built to react to risk. Visible, sudden risk feels dangerous. Slow, invisible risk feels safe. Inflation exploits exactly that wiring. Let's put real numbers next to this idea, using opportunity cost, what your money could have become instead. If Daniel had invested that same $20,000 in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund instead of letting it sit in cash, using a long-term historical average return of around 7% after inflation, that money could realistically grow to roughly $39,000 in 10 years. Not guaranteed, markets fluctuate, and there are no promises in investing. But historically, staying invested over long periods has outpaced inflation, while idle cash has not. That's the real choice Daniel and millions like him are quietly making every year. Not a single dramatic decision, but a slow, repeated one. Keep cash safe and lose value gradually, or accept some short term uncertainty for long term growth.
So, what do you actually do with this? First, awareness. Just understanding that holding large amounts of cash long term isn't neutral. It has a real ongoing cost, changes how you think about your savings. Second, build a simple system. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash for emergencies. That part stays safe and liquid, no debate. But money beyond that emergency fund, money you won't need for 5+ years, generally needs to be working, not sitting. Third, use low cost, diversified index funds as your default tool, not speculative bets. In the US, platforms like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab make this simple. In the UK, Hargreaves Lansdown. In Canada, Wealthsimple. In Australia, ComSec. You don't need to pick winning stocks. You need to stay invested consistently for a long time. Fourth, revisit your raises with real numbers. When you get a pay increase, check it against actual inflation that year, not just the percentage on paper. That habit alone keeps you out of the money illusion trap. The most dangerous tax isn't the one that takes a visible bite out of your paycheck. It's the one that takes nothing from your bank balance, yet quietly takes from your future, one invisible percentage point at a time. You can't vote it away. You can't negotiate it, but you can outgrow it. The choice isn't whether this tax exists, it's whether your money is sitting still while it happens or moving fast enough to outrun it.